graduated from and what have you. So without further ado, I'm gonna have him come on up here and share his transformation from his graduation. And let's take some notes. Brother Victor.
Brother, thank you very much. Model Tech. I actually have some notes that I was working on this morning. I don't know. I usually carry my anti-shake case with the CD and everything. I left my notes and I left my anti-shake case. I left everything because I guess that the notes wasn't that important. The notes was just going to try to keep me so I don't run everywhere. So I just, even when I do make notes, I just make little bulletin points because I just try to highlight something and speak from my heart. And sometimes it doesn't work out good enough, but bear with me. But I just want to start off that during last week, I went to a seminar, right, that helped me transform my life. Okay. So we basically, in the scriptures it says this, it says, you shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. So what happens is that when we get the truth, right, that sets us free, we put others in captivity. Because our truth now, right, has to be somebody else's falsehood. And especially when we've been so deep into what we thought was truth, and then we find out that everything we thought was true is a lie. But do you know what it takes to come to that realization? Like more and more, I'm finding out that people don't really want to know the truth, you know. And then when I do know the truth, and I guess I get frustrated where I basically tell you, well, you're worshiping a demon, blue-eyed, blonde-haired cracker that killed your mom and dad. So I attack the people, but I don't want to attack the people, right? I want to help the people. But you see how by me knowing the truth, I done hurt so many people because basically you saying, what the hell is wrong with you, you dumbass? But yet, when I was a Christian, or yet when there was a Muslim, or yet wherever we were, right, we were willing to defend that with our life. And I have to always remember that this is how I was. Because what happened is that one day, God just opened the light. He used my queen, he gave me information, and for years, people was telling me, man, you worshiping that cracker, and this and that, I'm defending, willing to kill you, because this is what we think. And we go on with life because we think that the truth that we have, right, is the truth, right? And we don't know how to correspond with people. Okay, so, and then it says, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. What happens is that this was able to have me think, right, that we always want to get knowledge, right? We always want to get knowledge. We always want to think that if we had this job, or we had this house, or we had, you know what I'm saying, this person in our life, right, that we got. But we always want to get knowledge, right? But we don't know that knowledge on top of knowledge on top of knowledge, right? Without knowing our soul, without knowing who we are, without bearing down to know that we was 5 years old, and we mad at our mama, that action, that when she looked at us, right, and she was passing gas, when we asked her something, we know all of a sudden, man, she don't like us, she don't turn her face. Little things affect us for the rest of our life. And even though we want to create, okay, even though we say that my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge, and we keep on getting knowledge, right? But meanwhile, our children are being devastated, our children are being set up for the slaughter. And you have all these people here, you want to get more knowledge so you get that knowledge, okay? So now you know our history, right? So now the next thing we want to do, right, is do what? Go into metaphysics, right? You see, but we talk and we educate ourselves, but we're afraid to tap into the universal power because we can't tap into power as long as we keep on carrying our baggage, our old relationship, that person that hurted us. You see, we are stifling power and knowledge because you know something, we don't tell ourselves, you know something, let me forgive myself. Okay, let me forgive others, because as long as, let me tell you something, as long as you have that relationship that your dad did this to you when you was 5, 10 years old, or regardless of whether you was raped, whether you was molested, let me tell you something, that's a real feeling. And nobody can tell you how you should deal with those feelings. How dare someone tell you if your mama abused you, how to deal with that? How the hell you can deal with that? You can't deal with that. The only thing you can deal with is to forgive yourself for the ramifications that it had on your life and the destruction that it brought you in every other relationship. You think somebody's gonna hurt you. So before they hurt you, you sabotage it. Don't even know why. How the hell we're gonna resurrect our people? We're gonna come here, we're gonna look good, we're gonna say, smile on tab, we're gonna say, yeah, power. But come on, we can't do nothing because we're powerless. Okay? All we can do is just survive at a 9 to 5 that's halfway damn near killing us, right? And so we can't create no new reality for ourselves because we too into what we have to do. So we have small things in our life that we have to accomplish, so we can't dream. We can't talk about no fulfilling our ancestors, the spirits of the ancestors through the universe and giving us power to say be, and it is. Why? Because as a child, right now, the princess she knows she can do anything she wants. Why? She doesn't have that baggage that tells us that she can. She doesn't have that disappointment and that broken heart and anybody that's crapping on her. We got all this crap, but we trying to put some like I said, we putting some icing on it. We wondering why we ain't going anywhere. You see, we don't have power because one reason why we don't have power because we don't use our power. And when I went to the landmark forum, let me tell you something. Check this out. My daughter was telling me about the landmark forum, right? And she feels that she's not accomplished. Okay, accounting degree, Fordham University, top of her class, working PricewaterhouseCoopers from the time. Her last year of high school, she knew she had a job when she graduated. When she got a perfect paper at Fordham University, Judgment College, the teacher questioned her. And my daughter was crossed. I called that crack. And I said, how dare you question because nobody got a, you know what I'm saying? They looked at all her transcripts. Okay? But she's accomplished, but she knows she's not happy. She knows that she's missing so many things. But everybody else, oh man, beautiful apartment, overlooking the Hudson River, nice car, beautiful. Guess what? And you know the courage to take her to say that? To say, Dad, you know something, I'm not happy with my relationship, I'm not happy with myself. And guess what? I've been introduced to this. And I think that this is something that you would love, that may benefit you. This is why I got this gift that I want to share with you. So when she told me about the landmark forum, right? And I was like, I ain't gonna say we're gonna go practice and stuff. And then she was graduating like a Tuesday, so she said, Dad, when you look for me, how can I say no, right? So I went in there, right? So you meet people from all over, black, white, mostly, brothers and stuff, right? So I'm like, she says, come to the landmark forum, right? I tell myself, listen, the last thing I want to do is come to somewhere where I'm going to have some cracker faggot, right, sitting across from me. I'm just telling you, no, please. No. I'm saying I have to reveal what was in my mind because God leads me to what I got to do.
We have a lot of homosexuals.
No, I'm saying. No, I'm saying, but I'm just saying. No, I'm saying, but you see, what happens is that we isolated, right, from what we can take, that we sort of cover our ears, like in the days of the scriptures, when they were talking, they didn't want to hear, so I don't mean to offend you in no kind of way. I'm just trying to review how I felt in that particular time when they were telling me to come. My rejection was, I don't want to come because I don't want to sit in front of no white faggot to counsel me about that. Right. Now, not to say that it's right or not, but I have a right to feel that way. Okay, and that's the right.
I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying. However, I have a grandson that happens to be a homosexual. And
I have a daughter that is gay, so please, we go to a different dimension because I have a daughter. I mean, I'm not a daughter.
Well, he's trying to share his transformation.
You know what? I find that that's something I've outgrown. I can't take the cracker. I can't take all these other because I've been there with G2EUC. I've been there. I'm 68 years young, brother.
But I'm trying to show you my transformation. I'm trying to tell you my transformation.
Bishop Ellis, he's trying to share his transformation.
I'm trying to share my transformation.
Where he come from.
So you gotta sit with me and bear. You can't stop in the middle because I hope that I don't say nothing to offend you. But we have to respect each other's transformation, and we can't say because a person uses a word that I said in there and that gay person or that faggot because we have a loved one that's gay. We have to go beyond that. We have to listen. We have to be able to listen to And this is why God brought you here for a reason. This is why you're here. You home and you family. So with all due respect, Queen, you're home. So please, just bear with me what I'm telling you. I'm telling you what I didn't want to be subject to. But let me continue my story. Because we're talking about transformation. Because I'm here, I'm here because I want to add to love and for us to grow. And everybody's story is unique. You might not be too much comfortable with his story or his story, but guess what? That's his story. That's what I don't want to hear that because I got somebody that went through this or I don't know.
Continue, brother.
We have to be able to grow, right?
Stay focused.
So now I'm telling myself, right? I want to be in that environment to have someone counsel me, right? That I might consider different. Okay? Because even as my speech now, and the audience, I'm going to grow because you're here. And I'm going to respect what you're saying. I'm going to still find the same way to say it, but now use it in a way that responds you too, because I know that it moves you in a certain way. But still don't take the story, right? So now, I sign up. Come in. No, I don't sign up. Check this out. The lady is on the phone, right? Calling me, saying, well, the landmark forum, you should come, right? And I'm telling myself, you know something? I'm thinking about coming because this is an environment, right, that you have to be honest. Okay? Now remember, why I didn't want to come? Because I didn't want no counseling me, right? This woman, this white woman, right? I never heard, I didn't know her. She's a voice on the phone, right? But I knew that eventually I wanted to do this, right? And guess what I told her? Something I never told nobody in my life, and I'm 55 years old. I said, you know something, maybe I have this biases, because when I was 10 years old, I was sexually molested by a white Jew. So maybe I have this, I never told my queen, I never told nobody. And that same afternoon, I went to my queen, I said, honey, this is what happened. I told my brother, I told my daughter, because in order for me to grow, okay, because you don't know who's, that's what I'm saying, that's why sometimes we have to listen and we have to go off, because we never know where the person is going to finish the story, right? But I was sexually molested, okay, and I shared that. And imagine, and you know something, I shared that in the same conversation, whereas I say, well, I had breakfast today, and when I was sexually molested when I was 10 years old. You see, I grew up in the hood, right? And maybe I feel different because I wasn't penetrated. You understand what I'm saying? So you know what I'm saying? So if it was reversed now, maybe I wouldn't be so open because we grew up in the hood where we was like, oh man, so, that was like, I went to 600 school, you know what I'm saying? So even though I was violated, and I'm sure that has a lot to do with maybe how I feel about certain types of people, of course. Everything is part of your experience. But in order for me to enable to grow, that had to come, and I ain't even in no group yet. This is the third conversation on the telephone. Right. And I'm saying, but I know that in order to do something, you have to be honest with yourself. Right. And you know how free, and it wasn't no thing that, that was telling me, I'm good, I'm good. So it wasn't like no psychological thing like, because I don't do it. But that does still play a part, and we don't know how it plays a part that could hinder our self-worth of what we feel. Okay, so now I signed up, right? I didn't get to sign up, right? 9 months later come now. So now finally, my daughter took me to the list. She said, okay, I put the down payment. I put $200. I'm like, come on. So now I signed up. Guess who was my instructor? Take a guess who was my instructor? A homosexual, white, Zionist Jew.
Wow.
Wow.
Now you think about this. Wow. That stole everything. This is who. So you see how what God did. Now what? Okay. And when he opened up the thing, introduced, right? So now I'm sitting with 132 people. I never seen none of them in my life. Okay. All kind of people you can see, from women look straight up men with tattoos, from business people to women look like they're nuns. So, what you plan to get, this is the Memorial Day weekend. So it's like what you plan to get up. I was the first person and got up. I said, what I plan, right, is when I leave here, I'm going to leave here with a resurrection. It's going to be my memorial, burying myself and having my resurrection from here. Because before I even got here, I revealed that I was sexually molested, and I was basically going to say, look what the hell, it's going to be my instruction for the next 3 days. Okay, 10 hours a day, right? So when I got to my seat, right, the brother, this white guy, man, he just introduced me. He says, brother, thank you. You know something? My father molested me. The Spanish brother got up and he said that his mother and his father was raping him since age 2. By me getting up and being man enough to say, you know something, yeah, you're going to look at me, you know, looking all clean, thinking I'm all perfect. You know something, guess what? I've been abused too. We all have. You understand what I'm saying? But it opened up the door. And that person that was devastated, and I'm saying this to say this, right, is that when we read, right, Moses, right, was learned in every way of the Egyptians, right, science and physics and science, everything, right? But when he was learned most, right, is yourself. Is that we are a creator, but we can't create, man, unless we apologize to ourselves, and unless we apologize to those that hurt us. And let me tell you something, when we think about the little stuff that's holding us back, man, when we reflect, man, on people's lives that they had to live with, marriages, divorces and stuff that they never healed, people that we never hurt, how are we going to create something? We can't create nothing. But meanwhile, as they try to devastate our children, hopelessness around us, right, we get so, well, you know, what's the word? You know, just barred, what's the word? Everything is coming back.
Bombarded.
Yeah, bombarded, right? So how the hell are we going to create? Think about it. We can't create nothing, right? And then we don't know nothing about ourselves, so we can't help our children. You understand what I'm saying? So we said, Bahutep, right? And we talking about doing all this here, but we don't have no power, we don't have no money. Because everything we bring into our relationship, right, is based on the hurt. And it takes, you have to be big. Like right now, you know what I did? One of the first things I did, right, check this out. I came up because it's now that it's giving us the blueprint, right, that you can create anything you want, right? One of my things, right, that I always been saying, well, if only I've done this and then, you know, stop me from being a lawyer, right? You know what it is? It's English, basic reading. Look at Mr. G7, you know, cool, right? I can read and I can comprehend, but everything is written to 3rd and 4th grade. You ain't saying nothing if you could read the newspaper, you know what I'm saying? You know, and comprehend that ain't nothing. But when you want to get to a higher level, right? When you introduce to new words and new things, right? Because if you have all the proper nouns and the grammar, you can see new things and say. You might not know what the heck it says, right? But you can't even say it because you can't even say what it is in English. How are you going to be introduced to something new? How are you going to sit here and be a force to help resurrect your people, right? If you have a problem just corresponding. So how I'm going to do my power? Guess what? I got my phonics, A-E-I-O-U, sometimes Y, sometimes Y, right? Because there's no sense, right, me being a creator unless I have to create the basic things, right, in order for me to do what? To create big things. When we create big things, the little things don't matter no more.
That's right.
So the landmark forum, right, got a chance to let me look at myself, right? And also the teacher that taught the landmark forum, right, I was putting him in check. Because how he was coming out attacking people. And I would say, you know something, there's certain Israeli biases that you have that you have automatic protection of Israel without even you knowing that. I said subconsciously. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm able to check him. And he probably looking at me, you know what he told me? He said, oh, you're arrogant, you're self-righteous, you're this, and that's why people don't like you. And boom. And then I told him, I said, and my mind was like, how do you figure all that out? then I thought about it overnight. I said, well, it's obvious. I guess I'll be in his face telling him. Probably not too many people will do, you know, because he's a 32-year instructor, a master teacher. Because after you finish talking, you've been supposedly, because when I was talking to him, he said, well, no. I said, let me ask you something. Because you say that if you say something, because this young lady got up to say her father lives in Israel, right? So he's a Zionist, and she's towards the cause of Palestine. And as soon as she said, well, you know, my father's a Zionist, he was like, so I just radared up on him. And I said, oh man, his bias just came out. So after she finished the session, because he's trying to break it down, but you know, if your father's wrong, then that means you're right. And you can't be right, and he's wrong. And I'm saying, wait a minute. I said, wait a minute. So if you see a child molester, you can't say he's wrong, you know what I'm saying, or rapist, you know, wait a minute. There has to be some right or wrong, right? So I had a little problem with him because he was trying to break her down. So during the session, I came up to her and I said, excuse me, I said, with all due respect, I noticed that as soon as she said Zionist, right, I see your whole facial expression change and you started to attack her. He said, who? He said, try to defend himself. I said, you know something? What happens when a lot of Zionists, Israeli Jews, they don't even see I said, they don't even see their own bias. You know, left it at, you know, but, so not to say somebody sitting across from you is perfect, no. This is letting you know, right, that it's okay to cut off the garbage. It's okay to get on the telephone, so in between breaks, you had to go to your loved ones. You had to pick up the phone and say, I'm sorry, forgive me. I mean, you know something, you know, how does that feel, man, when you can say, you know something, man, I want you to know that I forgive myself. This is not the time that you say, well, everything you've done for me, no, you say, you know something, I have forgiven myself and I forgive you. And when you do that, now we become like a child. We have that clear board and we can say, what do I want to do? What do I want to create? And when you're around other people that feels the same way, that's when you can connect the energy and you can make it happen. So I'm sure when I say Landmark Forum, there's going to be somebody, one of us, right, that's going to do this research. You know how we like to do research? And we would like to say, you know, how smart we are. There's going to be somebody that's going to say, you know something? The people that found Landmark Forum, oh, Mr. G, let me tell you something, man. You know what I'm saying? You're a traitor to our people. You talk about Landmark Forum, you know that the guy's mother, grandmama, mama, father's cousin, great aunt, mama had held us in captivity. It's going to come out. If it was started by a Jew, somebody will come up with somebody. We know that, right? Somebody, grandmama, and they're going to say, I'm a traitor, and not Dr. Ray. Dr. Ray let this guy in a G7 talking about somebody that had slaves. See, because we don't know, right, how to cut off. We have to know that we have to use whatever we have to use. Okay? Ain't nobody telling me that it's possible for me to create. Ain't nobody telling me that it's possible for me to stop the penetration of the universe that's geared toward the elimination of our people. Who the hell is telling me that? Mr. G? Guess what, man? I believe you can do that. I believe you can tap in. So I don't care what color you are. I care what color we are as we go into the future, right? And our people. But I don't care what color you are than what you're able to give me to help create toward the resurrection of my people. So like I said, there's going to be some people that are going to say, well, somebody, the guy's grandmama and his father's mama, and they're going to say, man, their money was through Chase, and their mama was through the Louvres and all that. I don't care. I'm going to tell you straight up. I don't care. All I know is right now, right, they say, what you want to do? And I say what I want to do, and they say it's possible. You want to resurrect your people? It's possible. Let us help you, teach you how. Instead of just going to a program, you listen to somebody good, you go home, now what the hell? So it's a follow program. You understand what I'm saying? So I felt good to say, yo, you're a Zionist Jew, you know what I'm saying? And life moves on. Let's get, we don't want your kind, it is what it is. Right. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to just say I got it. Like everybody say, I got it, so I ain't got it. It might take me longer. I know I'm hard-headed. So I just want to say that in the village, right, everything's a possibility, man. You know what I'm saying? This is where we want to go in the village. I know we might not be, you know, why we here, this and that, right? You know, is it worth family giving up on us? Is it worth people telling us it's crazy? When before I was in the Christian community, they love each other now. Here, these people here, they lend you $10, now they don't pick up the phone. You know? I mean, you know what I'm saying? It is like that, right? Sometimes, right? But still in all, we have the power, right, to resurrect our people, not just saying about it, man. So this is why I want to invite my queen. I want to invite everybody on the 12th, June 12th?
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
it's
8, 9, 10, that's Tuesday. Yeah, Tuesday. Queen, come over here 1 second. Let me just let everybody see you right here. This is Queen Navarro. This is my beautiful queen that introduced me to Dr. Ray Hagan and so many other conscious things that she's going to be going to the Landmark Forum. And everybody's free to please welcome her. It's at 730 33rd Street between 8th and 9th Avenue and celebrate her transformation. Because if you think that my queen is something now, imagine when she transformed her life. She's going to be such a powerful, powerful instrument that God is going to use for nutrition to help our people eat. God is going to use her towards young mothers because she was a young mother. God is going to use her for our young brothers, our young sisters can look and say, guess what? It's possible we are queens. And God is going to transform her life because she's an energy of just so many good things. And I just support my queen and worship her so much. And this transformation is for her. So I want all of us to celebrate with her because you know she's going to bring back the love back. You know she's going to try to feel all our lives in our hearts. So I just want to just introduce her and so everybody knows her. But this is her thing. And I went through this and I'm so excited. And I have courses that I'm continue to go. Imagine. So I told myself, if I'm going to create, right? Think about it. They won't be smart to me unless I go and get that finance. Come on now. Don't you want your brother to be a better communicator? I say I want to help my people, right? See, I don't want to be up on Facebook or whatever. And, you know, and I'm making all these typos and stuff. And you wondering why I ain't getting back to you so quick. You know, I got to spell check and you know spell check with the spelling dictionary and their problems. Now you know that's bad. So you got to know at least the first 2 letters sometimes. You know what I'm saying? So I know, so there's no sense me fooling myself, right? I want to create, know that damn English. So by the time